The miscalculation. For 3 centuries, the Galactic Confederation had observed Earth from afar, their crystalline observation platforms hidden among the asteroid belt. They watched with a mixture of fascination and disdain as humans fought their petty wars, struggled with climate disasters, and barely managed to establish a foothold on their own moon and neighboring planet. Commander Vextrol, a veteran of 17 conquest campaigns, stood on the bridge of the Confederation flagship Inevitable Dominion, his scaled skin reflecting the cold blue light of the tactical displays. His species, the Ardaxian, had led the Confederation for millennia, guiding lesser species into their rightful place within the galactic hierarchy. Status report on the Earth observation. Vextrol commanded, his voice a low rumble that resonated through the bridge. His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Lirithi, brought up a holographic display. Unchanged, Commander. Their space presence remains limited to their orbital stations and the small Mars colony. No evidence of significant military assets beyond their atmosphere. Their technological development has been inconsistent. Vextrol's upper mouth curled into what passed for a smile in his species. Inconsistent, a diplomatic word for chaotic and inefficient. These humans spend more resources fighting each other than reaching for the stars. Yes, Commander, Lirithi agreed. The High Council has deemed Earth ripe for integration. Their resources are substantial, and their population would provide excellent labor for the outer colonies. Vextrol nodded, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. The Council's decision is wise. Prepare the integration fleet. 200 vessels should be more than sufficient to overwhelm their defenses and demonstrate our superiority. For weeks, the Confederation prepared its fleet. Ships were recalled from distant sectors, crews briefed on Earth's capabilities, and integration protocols established. The Confederation had done this hundreds of times before. Arrive in overwhelming force, demonstrate technological superiority, and offer a choice: submit or face annihilation. Most species chose wisely. As the fleet assembled at the edge of the Sol system, anticipation rippled through the crews. Earth would be the Confederation's gateway to this region of space, opening up new resources and opportunities for expansion. All ships report ready, Commander, Lirithi announced as the final vessel took position. Integration fleet formed and awaiting your command. Vextrol's eyes gleamed. Begin the approach. Standard formation. Broadcast the integration message on all frequencies once we reach their outer planet Neptune. The fleet moved with practiced precision, 200 warships forming a perfect arrowhead formation as they accelerated toward the inner solar system. They passed Neptune without incident, their sensors detecting only automated research stations that had been abandoned decades ago. No response to our presence, Commander, the communications officer reported. Their orbital observation platforms must have detected us by now. They are likely in panic, preparing their pitiful defenses. Vextrol responded dismissively. Continue approach. As they passed the orbit of Jupiter, the fleet maintained its formation, weapons charged but dormant. The Confederation believed in efficiency. Why destroy what could be used? Earth would serve them better intact, its population subservient rather than exterminated. Commander, the sensor officer called suddenly, his voice breaking protocol with its urgency. Anomalous reading detected near Jupiter's Trojan asteroids. Vextrol turned sharply. Specify. Large mass, sir. Very large. It appears to be moving. The main display shifted to show the region in question. At first, there was nothing but the distant glow of Jupiter and the scatter of asteroids. Then something moved, something massive enough to disturb the orbits of nearby asteroids. Magnify, Vextrol ordered, his posture stiffening. The image zoomed in, clarity enhancing with each adjustment. What appeared was unlike anything in the Confederation archives, a massive vessel, dark as the void itself, its surface etched with geometric patterns that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The ship was cylindrical, at least 15 kilometers in length, with a diameter that could encompass an entire Confederation cruiser. Impossible, Lorethi whispered. Our intelligence indicated no such capabilities. Vextrol's eyes narrowed. Scan it. Full spectrum. The sensor officer worked frantically, his fingers dancing across the controls. Sir, we're getting nothing. No energy signatures, no radiation, no propulsion emissions. It's as if. As if what? Vextrol demanded. As if it's not actually there. But our gravitational sensors confirm its mass. It's real, Commander, but somehow shielded from conventional detection. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. A species capable of building such a vessel and concealing it from the Confederation's advanced detection systems was not the primitive civilization they had expected to conquer. It's changing course, the sensor officer reported, moving to intercept our formation. Vextrol's training took over. Battle stations. Defensive formation. Prepare all weapons, but do not fire without my command. The fleet responded instantly, shifting from its arrowhead formation into a defensive sphere, weapons systems activating across 200 vessels. Still, an unsettling feeling spread through the command staff. They had prepared to face primitive orbital defenses and atmospheric fighters. Not this. As the mysterious vessel approached, it maintained a steady course, showing no signs of aggression, but making no attempt at communication either. Its silence was more unnerving than any threat could have been. Broadcast on all frequencies, Vextrol ordered. Identify yourselves and state your intentions. The communications officer complied, sending the message in both Confederation Standard and the dozen Earth languages they had cataloged. Minutes passed with no response. Sir, the sensor officer called again. The vessel is now within visual range. The main display shifted again, and the bridge crew collectively drew breath. The ship was even more imposing up close, its hull marked with what appeared to be ancient battle scars, yet pristine in its engineering. And now, emblazoned on its side in simple characters, they could read its name, Harbingir. A human vessel, Lorethi confirmed, checking the linguistic database. The word translates to one that announces the approach of another. Before Vextrol could respond, the communications panel lit up. Incoming transmission, Commander. Audio only. Play it, Vextrol ordered. A voice filled the bridge, deep, resonant, and unmistakably human. Confederation vessel Inevitable Dominion and accompanying fleet. You have entered restricted space. The Sol system is under the protection of the Terran Defense Directive. You will halt your approach immediately. Vextrol's pride flared. Return transmission. Inform them that we are the Galactic Confederation, here to offer Earth integration into our domain. Their cooperation will determine the terms of this integration. The message was sent, but the response came almost immediately. There will be no integration. The Sol system is not open to conquest or colonization. You have 30 minutes to reverse course and leave the system. This is your only warning. Murmurs spread across the bridge. No species had ever rejected integration so bluntly. Vextrol's 4 eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of agitation in his species. Commander, the tactical officer spoke up. I recommend caution. That vessel's size suggests capabilities beyond our intelligence reports. If the humans have managed to conceal this ship, they may have other surprises. Vextrol silenced him with a gesture. We are 200 warships. They are one vessel, regardless of its size. Prepare a demonstration of force. Target one of the outer asteroids and destroy it. Show them what awaits resistance. The order was carried out. A Confederation destroyer broke formation, approached a nearby asteroid approximately 2 kilometers in diameter, and fired its main cannon. The asteroid shattered into thousands of fragments, the explosion temporarily blinding sensors in that direction. When visibility returned, the Harbinger remained unmoved, silently watching. No response, Commander, the communications officer reported. They're not transmitting. Vextrol's confidence began to waver. This was not how integration scenarios typically unfolded. Species faced with Confederation power either immediately surrendered or launched desperate futile attacks. This silent observer defied expectations. 20 minutes remaining in their ultimatum. Commander, Lorethi noted. They dare to threaten us. Vex Troll snarled. Prepare all ships for. Commander, the sensor officer interrupted. Multiple energy signatures detecting. They're everywhere. The tactical display updated, showing dozens, then hundreds of new contacts emerging throughout the solar system. Some rose from the clouds of Jupiter and Saturn, others appeared from the surface of Mars, and still more seemed to materialize from the asteroid belt. What are they? Vex Troll demanded. Similar design to the Harbinger, sir, but smaller, between 1 and 3 kilometers in length. They're forming a perimeter around our fleet. The bridge fell silent as the tactical display filled with more contacts than their fleet could possibly engage. The humans had not been defenseless. They had not been primitive. They had been waiting. 10 minutes remaining in their ultimatum. Lorethi whispered. The reckoning. Commander Vex Troll's mind raced through options, each more desperate than the last. His fleet, once an overwhelming force of dominance, now found itself surrounded by vessels that had appeared from nowhere, their capabilities unknown, their intentions clear only in their positioning. A noose tightening around the Confederation's neck. Open a channel to the Harbinger, he finally ordered, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. I will speak with whoever commands their fleet. The communications officer worked quickly, and within moments, the main display shifted to show the bridge of the human vessel. Unlike the sterile, efficient design of Confederation ships, the human command center appeared almost organic, curved surfaces, subtle lighting, and at its center, a single figure seated in what appeared to be a chair made of actual biological material. The human was unremarkable in appearance, a female of the species, her skin a deep brown, her hair cropped short against her skull. She wore a simple uniform bearing no obvious rank or insignia. I am Commander Vex Troll of the Galactic Confederation, he began, drawing himself to his full height. To whom am I speaking? The human regarded him silently for a moment before responding. Captain Eleanor Chen, Terran Defense Directive. You have 7 minutes remaining to withdraw your fleet from our system. Vex Troll's upper mouth twitched. Captain Chen, there appears to be a misunderstanding. The Confederation comes offering integration, not destruction. Your species would benefit greatly from our guidance and protection. We understand perfectly what your integration entails, Commander, Chen replied, her voice carrying neither fear nor aggression. Only certainty. We've observed 17 of your conquest campaigns. The Palaxians, the Vordani, the Yith Collective. We know what happens to those who join your confederation. Shock rippled through the bridge. The humans had been watching them. For how long? And how had they remained undetected? Your ultimatum is noted, Vex Troll said, recovering quickly. However, you must understand that the Confederation cannot be threatened. We have conquered galaxies. Your single system, regardless of these, impressive vessels, cannot stand against us if we bring our full might to bear. Chen's expression remained unchanged. We are not threatening you, Commander. We are informing you of reality. The Sol system is closed to your kind. 5 minutes remaining. Lorethi approached Vex Troll, speaking in a hushed tone. Commander, our sensors have completed deep scans of the vessels surrounding us. They're different from anything we've encountered. Their hulls contain elements not on our periodic table, and they're old. The radiation patterns suggest these ships have existed for centuries, possibly millennia. Vex Troll's 4 eyes widened slightly. Impossible. Humans have only achieved spaceflight within the last century. That's what we believed, Lorethi replied. It seems our intelligence was incomplete. On the screen, Captain Chen watched their exchange with passive interest. Your confusion is understandable, Commander. Allow me to provide context for your report to the Confederation Council. The display split, showing historical footage. Earth's early space programs. Primitive and dangerous. Their first steps on their moon. Their initial Mars colony. But then the footage shifted, showing massive underground facilities, hidden beneath oceans and mountains, where colossal ships were being constructed. While we fought our petty wars on the surface, Chen explained, we were preparing below. The Harbinger was completed 300 years ago, the first of our Sentinel-class vessels. It has been watching, waiting, while we built the rest of our fleet in secret. 300 years. Vex Troll couldn't hide his disbelief. Your species has barely been unified for a century. Our nations competed publicly, Chen acknowledged. But there have always been secrets shared between enemies when facing a greater threat. We detected your observation platforms 4 centuries ago. We knew you were watching, assessing, planning. So we gave you what you expected to see. A divided, chaotic species more interested in internal conflicts than reaching for the stars. Vex Troll's confidence crumbled as the implications became clear. The Confederation's entire strategy had been based on a carefully crafted deception. 3 minutes remaining, Chen noted calmly. You cannot expect us to simply retreat, Vex Troll said, a final attempt at salvaging his pride. The Confederation does not withdraw. It would show weakness to the galaxy. I understand your concern for appearance, Chen replied. Allow me to offer a demonstration that might help explain your options more clearly. Before Vex Troll could respond, the tactical officer called out in alarm. Commander, energy spiked from the Harbinger. A beam of light, so pure it appeared white to some species and completely invisible to others, shot from the human vessel toward a distant point in space, far from any ships or celestial bodies. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, a section of space itself appeared to fold, creating a spherical distortion approximately 5 kilometers in diameter. When the distortion cleared, that section of space was simply empty. No stars shone through it. No cosmic background radiation registered. It was as if that sphere of reality had been excised from existence itself. What you just witnessed, Chen explained, her voice still eerily calm, is a demonstration of our void envelope technology. It doesn't destroy matter. It removes it from our universe entirely. We developed it after studying the composition of your ship's hulls. It's specifically calibrated to affect the unique molecular structure of Confederation vessels. Silence gripped the bridge of the inevitable Dominion as the tactical display confirmed what their eyes couldn't believe. The targeted area was indeed absent from all sensors, as if that region of space had never existed. 1 minute remaining, Commander, Chen said. I should mention that each of our vessels carries this capability. And unlike your fleet, which requires days to recharge main weapons after firing, our systems can operate continuously. Vex Troll's hands gripped the command console so tightly that his claws left indentations in the metal. Pride and training warred with survival instinct and tactical reality. Your options are simple, Chen continued. Withdraw your fleet now, return to your council, and inform them that the Sol system is permanently closed to Confederation vessels. Any future incursion will be met with immediate removal, or remain, and we will demonstrate our technology on targets of greater significance than empty space. The countdown timer reached 30 seconds, and Lyrathi could remain silent no longer. Commander, I strongly recommend compliance. We cannot fight what we cannot understand, and we cannot understand what we cannot even detect properly. Vex Troll's shoulders slumped almost imperceptibly, a gesture of surrender that only his own species would recognize. Fleet Command, this is Commander Vex Troll. All vessels prepare for immediate withdrawal. Reverse course and prepare for hyperspace jump to Rendezvous Point Alpha. As the Confederation fleet began its retreat, Captain Chen offered one final message. A wise decision, Commander. When you report to your council, tell them this. Humanity is not interested in conquest or dominion. We seek neither territory nor resources beyond our system, but we will defend what is ours with absolute commitment. The stars are vast, Find another route for your expansion." The transmission ended, and the massive human vessels maintained their positions, watching silently as the Confederation fleet retreated. No shots were fired. No pursuit was given. The message had been delivered with perfect clarity. 3 days later, as the Confederation fleet regrouped at their rendezvous point, Vex Trawl prepared his report to the High Council. How could he explain that centuries of observation had been manipulated? That a seemingly primitive species had not only detected their surveillance, but had crafted an elaborate deception while building a fleet of ships beyond Confederation understanding? As he contemplated his words, a junior officer approached with a data crystal. "Commander, our deep space sensors detected this transmission broadcast on all frequencies as we left the Sol system. It's directed to the galaxy at large." Vex Trawl inserted the crystal into his console, and a simple message appeared. Text only, translated into every known language in the galaxy. "To all spacefaring civilizations, the Sol system is under the protection of the Terran Defense Directive. We seek neither conflict nor domination. We welcome peaceful contact and exchange. But know this, those who come with weapons will find only their own destruction. We have watched the galaxy for centuries. We know who you are. We know what you've done. Choose peace." Vex Trawl deleted the message from his console, but knew he could not delete it from history. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy not as conquerors, but as silent sentinels, guardians of their own small corner of space, who had revealed themselves only when necessary. The Confederation would need to reevaluate its approach to expansion, and Vex Trawl would need to explain how a fleet of 200 warships had been turned away by a species that, until today, had been considered primitive. He suspected this would not be the last the galaxy heard of humans, and for the first time in his long military career, Commander Vex Trawl felt something unfamiliar settle in his core: respect for an enemy who had defeated him without firing a single shot.